They trust in him. Okay? Do kindness. Teach. Learn. You notice, I don't know if you noticed that, but let me put it as a question. Who do you see have more trust in God? Think before you answer. Rich people, very rich people, or average poor people? Two groups, rich, very rich, average, and poor. Who has more trust in God?
The average.
The average and below, right?
The average.
Should be the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the rich and up, they get whatever they speak with God, and God give it to them.
Some do, but
You know what's the problem? The Torah says that. As long as someone is satisfied, he reject. He says, God, I have everything, I don't need you. I have enough. When you pray to God, when you have a lack of something, you need him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest problem.
Wow.
So sometimes Hashem don't give you wealth because he knows. As soon as you get it, you'll be away from him. And Father wants his son next to him.
Wow.
So prove to God that even when you have, you're still with him even more. Then he'll start to give it to you.
Okay.
Because he can trust you with his money. His money, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You see it as a fact that. Let me put it in from place that I have experienced. Okay, conversions. Most of the people that comes to meet the conversion, they're not ever wealthy. Never. What do you think the reasons? Who's sick for God? Average and below. Rich people, forget it. They don't need God. One time they go to church once a week, once a year, or never. I'm not saying going to church is good. I'm saying the idea. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's it? They don't need him. They have everything. They can give him.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But those who average and below, they need God. They see him eye to eye. Without him, they're miserable. They have nothing. And they start to seek and explore, and they open the Bible and says, hey, that's not enough what I did. It's actually false and a lie. What's the truth? They don't have any money sometimes to buy the book. I tell them, buy the book. I'm going to buy it next month when I get paycheck. What do you mean? It's a book at $20. You see how much they have much dedication to be with God, to fulfill his Torah and mitzvot. They care about him, and they don't have even $20 to buy a book. When a rich person can buy the entire store.
That's.
And God says in the Torah, be careful. Because out of wealth, you are going to reject the Torah, the mitzvot. You're going to start to question. You think it's your power, your wisdom. You build it. It's you. It's only about you when you actually did nothing. Because if I decide to stop it one day, whatever you do won't help. And don't ask too many questions. Because if you ask why, one day they call you and they'll tell you why.
Like that one.
That's it. Nevertheless, in Judaism and Torah, we always encourage people to ask questions, to learn, and to perform, to follow. Prove it to me, God exists, it's a stone that he built, he can't take it. It's all this nonsense enough. So it comes out of too much. Hashem that takes from you, it's for your own good. So you remember that he's still here.
Okay.
Go ahead. As it says.
Also, if a man were free from labor and did not have to exert himself for his food, he would be recalcitrant and would pursue transgressions, as it is written, Devarim 32:15. And Yeshurun grew fat and he kicked.
What do you mean he kicked?
The bucket.
He rejected. Why kick? Why he kicked the bucket? Why? Because he doesn't need it anymore.
That's it.
When you need something, you'll do anything in your power to get it because you're hungry. You're hungry. You need food. When you're full, you beat the hands that feed you. Get out of here! I don't need you.
No.
I'm feeding you.
Wow.
No, I don't need you. I'm okay. When you're going to ask for food again, when you're hungry.
Wow.
See, like a baby. A baby You sit tight when he's very hungry. Then he eats it. When he's hungry, you're going to chase after him all over the house. He won't care. He's full. Doesn't need you. When he needs you? When he needs food. But this is childish. This is with babies. We're not babies.
Convenencieros.
We need Hashem all the time. Don't make him make you hungry.
Convenencieros.
Don't make him make you hungry. Tell him, Hashem, I need even more. Every time you get from him anything, parnasa, livelihood, money, health, you see that you get extra on the top of what you have. Always add more love to God. Because he added more love to you, you have to be measure for measure. People do the opposite, and this is the biggest mistake. And then Hashem takes to get your attention. Sometimes it takes so much, people cannot recover after that. You get to the degree that God cannot, you have almost no relationship with you. So he doesn't care about you. The only key, the only way to save yourself from such place or situation is teshuvah. And the teshuvah will be now harder. Because you betrayed God. And God hates treason. Good.
It's maybe, I don't know. It's not perhaps that Hashem doesn't care for you. It's just, you just don't care for him. And when you do tshuva, it's not because...
Why you don't care for him? Because you don't need. You say, I have everything.
Right. You have everything. You're satisfied. Or even if he gives you, you're ungrateful. You always complain, meaning what you have.
Right. So what's the balance? What's the best way to live a wonderful life, a good life, to enjoy it? We're not here to suffer. There's no mitzvah to suffer. The book of Mesilat Yesharim said that in the introduction that people do a lot of fast days and they roll themselves in the snow and suffering. He says that Hashem doesn't want that. He wants you to enjoy this life.
Yeah.
You should work, you should celebrate, you should eat and drink. Everything is fine. But it has to be bound with Torah and mitzvah. Do it together. Even when you eat, you can sanctify the food. Mm-hmm. You can elevate it to Hashem's kingdom. How do you do that? Before you eat, you bless, and after you eat. You have to mix. You have to find the right balance between physical life and spiritual life. As it says, continue.
And the rabbis of blessed memory have said in Avot 2:2, the idea is study of Torah combined with pursuit of a livelihood. For the exertion requires the both cause, one to forget transgression. But now the exalted Hashem has relegated two occupations to man, his own and that of Torah. And a man must follow the middle course between the two occupations and devote specified hours to the work of Torah and to work of this world respectively. And you must strengthen yourself to make both labor and constant good for you and for your latter, and so that the one not be detrimental to the other, as it is written in Yirmiyahu 22:15, that your father not labor to eat and drink at the same time, do justice and righteousness, that it was well for him. And Kohelet 7:18.
So, if you find the right balance, you're in a perfect shape. You know, and you'll see blessings. When I say blessing, it doesn't mean that you become Bill Gates now. This is not your purpose in this world. Hashem don't want you to be Bill Gates. Hashem wants you to be Joe, David, Moses, or whatever your name is.
You already made Bill.
Whatever your name is. It's better to have 1,000 with blessing than $1 million without a blessing. It's better to have $100 in your hand with blessing and $1 million in your hand without blessing. You might have this million with a lot of sufferings and agony and problems from here to the moon, and $100 with a smile with blessing. Even with whatever we do, we need to ask Hashem, whatever I do, more or less, little or much. Give it to me with beracha, with blessing. Put your blessing in the food, in the money, imagine everything I do. As the priest blessing the people of Israel, Yeverachecha Hashem, Vishmer Hashem will bless you and will guard you. Because blessing needs to be guarded. Blessing enough is not, you get $1 million, it's a blessing. But if you got problems with that, the people want to take the money out of you, it's not safeguard. It's better not to have the money. I read an article that over 80%, that won the lottery first prize, they had miserable life after that. Either lost the money, ends up in jail or died. What? They earned millions of dollars. They thought it's a blessing. It wasn't a blessing for them eventually.
Wow.
Sometimes because you pray so much, Hashem eventually will give it to you because this is the power of tefillah. But who says it's good for you? So even the prayer has to be with balance. Hashem, this is what I need. Pray for it. If Hashem give it to you, good. Doesn't give it to you, it's also good. Hashem wants only for good for us. Stop complaining. Okay. If you have too many questions, it means you have not enough Torah in you. And you have very little trust in Hashem. So what do you need to do? Do kindness. Hashem give you money or whatever, give you health or wisdom or expertise in some profession so you can use it for your own sake and other people's sake. If you concentrate on yourself, you're selfish and Hashem is not with you. You have a wisdom, share it. Help other people. Don't be afraid. Hashem will pay you. Hashem will pay you 10 times more than you even can imagine. Let's finish this part.
Then it was well for him. And Kohelet 7:18. It is good that you take hold of this, and also from the other, not let go of your hand.
Do this and that. I'm going to study all day. I'm going to work all day. That's not good. You have to be balanced. You have to provide.
No.
Don't do any type of secular work on the expense of mitzvot. People find time on the expense of Hashem's time. Tefillah, Torah reading, Torah learning. This they find time. No, I have to work, I have to provide. Who's going to pay the bill? You're paying the bill. Mm-hmm. You can lose your job just like that. Out of Hashem's mercy, you still keep it. Wow. You still have it. You think because you're a great worker. Wow. Many people thought that way and they're not working anymore.
That is.
There's someone in the mall that sells, I don't know, a hair straightener, making more money than a professor that half of his life is learning and studying and teaching. This guy is not educated compared to, I'm not saying all of them, but compared to the professor, and they're making 10 times more than him. I'm talking to you of facts. So, Parnasah, who depends on God's will, you can give to this one and take to the other one, or not give to both of them. It depends on God's will. The more you understand, comprehend that, Hashem will see that you have a good connection with you and He's trying to talk to you. 1 second. So, this is the main idea here. I would like to finish one more part, and because I want to share with you a very interesting story here. Go ahead. The last part of the class.
And one must trust in the blessed God to give him prosperity in his work and his affairs, and not trust in his labors and exertions themselves, but regard them rather as a means of deriving his sustenance from the blessed God.
This is just the mean. It's good to study. It's good to have a profession. You might not get your livelihood out of this profession. Many engineers work as teachers, not engineering or the real engineering. They thought that's what they want to do, and ends up different. It all depends on God's will. You know, there's some people that even don't know how to read and write and making good money. Not knowing how to read, how you say, illiterate, right? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about in certain language at all. There's a famous story at the time of Rabbi Meir Abu Hatzira in Morocco. a Jew, a family